Shark cages are constructed of high-grade aluminium and can weigh over 100 kilograms. But as Patrick Walsh and Paul Damgard discovered, sometimes they're no match for a 907-kilogram great white. While cage diving off Guadalupe Island in 2007, the two men found out just how powerful these magnificent creatures can be. Guadalupe, a small island 150 miles from the coast of Mexico's Baja California, is one of the best places in the world to see great whites in their natural environment. Neither Paul nor Patrick had ever dived with great whites before. Getting up close and personal with these giant predators was a new experience for both of them.
Well, I've always been fascinated with sharks. It's been diving for maybe about a year and a half before I got the opportunity to dive in this type of environment with really big sharks. You know, I dove with reef sharks and other smaller sharks, but never really had an opportunity to dive with the big boys. These sharks ranged in size between 14 and 18 feet in length. So these were massive sharks.
One of the largest was a huge female the crew had nicknamed Cece.
Cece was a large female. She was about 16 feet in length, estimated about 2,000 pounds. Definitely full of muscle and power.
Great whites attack their prey by ambush, rocketing from deep below. That day, Cece suddenly went for the hang bait outside the cage that the crew was using to attract the sharks.
She was probably about 300 feet down when I saw her, and she was coming straight up. And just slammed straight into the viewing window where we were filming. As soon as it hit the cage, I actually screamed out. All hell broke loose.
It ran right straight in through the viewing port, knocked me and my camera back to the back of the cage. I got off to one side, my camera was pushed up against the shark's head, and then it kind of released for a moment. I was able to duck underneath the shark, and as I was heading towards the other end of the cage, I could see it reposition itself, and then it started the torquing motion, and it snapped all the welds on top of the cage, on the front part. And that part collapsed right against me, and I wasn't able to move at that time.
Looking back on it now, what I'm more surprised with is that we both didn't get crushed to death inside this cage. I mean, it just bent these bars like they were made out of toothpaste.
The mangled cage sank to the ocean floor. With the shark now in the cage, the two divers desperately tried to escape. But their air hose, or hook line, which fed them oxygen from the boat deck, was tangled in the cage.
I'm stuck. I can't get out the escape hatch. My hook line is caught somewhere in there.
This shark was fully inside the cage. At that point, I'm just thinking, it's over. I was terrified. I just knew with 100% certainty that this was going to be the end.
And they're yelling, "Get him out, get him out, get him out." And all of a sudden, Cece lets up and starts torquing out towards the outside, and the dive master is able to just pull me up enough, and the shark coming for my legs, and I just be able to squinch up enough, and I just ride right over the top of this shark.
With Paul now safely on deck, Patrick tried to resurface. But due to his 27 kilograms of dive weight, he began to quickly sink to the bottom.
I just immediately start sinking like a stone to the bottom of the ocean. I sank down below the cage so much that I couldn't reach the cage anymore.
But Patrick's hooker line was still entangled in the shark cage. In order to get back on deck, he would need to go back into the cage.
The crew is pulling on my hookah line, and they were able to actually pull me up close enough so I could reach the cage again. Once I got back into the cage, I mean, I literally sprung out of the water. There was no stopping me from getting back onto deck.
You know, we're both sitting there, you know, trying to catch our breath and get the adrenaline rush down, and we look at each other and say, did you get that on the camera?
Paul Damgard and Patrick Walsh were lucky. They walked away unhurt. For Paul, this was close enough.
Well, this is the one and only cage dive that I've been on. You know, I didn't see going back and doing it a second time. I think I got just about all that I wanted out of that one dive. I haven't had an experience like this. The closest thing that I've had to this is being in an automobile out of control.